we've talked about how meaning is very important for a sentence correction question. At times, you'll be given two different structures which give you two very different meanings. There, you have to know what one structure means and what the other means, then choose between what is sensible. It sounds confusing, it really isn't. Let's look at an example here. Of course, you approach this question trying to find a point of entry, which you do within the last few words with the occupied versus the occupation form. It's easy to choose the occupied form here, and that's enough for us to bring it down to A, B, and D. Post which, you notice that A and B are written slightly differently, whereas B and C have the melting form at least. So to melt versus melting, we'll compare B and D first. Began melting versus began after melting, to uncover versus uncovering, and then later, ignoring all these structural choices, later you've got which are to occupied versus to be occupied. To be occupied gives us the same meaning as which are to be occupied, and which is elongation for no reason, for which you can again eliminate D and you're left with A and B. Now, of course, we've used preferences here, and I recommend not using preferences early on. But the reason I did that is so that I could highlight the difference between A and B from a meaning perspective. Once you know this difference, you will eliminate options based on this difference of meaning, and all four options would be eliminated for the same thing. So in the exam, you will not have to use preferences to eliminate. In the exam, you will go by what we're going to discuss next. Now notice how in A we've written began to melt, and in B we've written began melting. Both these forms mean essentially the same thing. So here, there isn't much of a choice. But post that, with A we've got the comma ing form, comma uncovering, which shows cause and effect. The first action happened because of which the second action happened. Whereas in option B we've got began melting to uncover. Now when you use the to uncover form, you're implying that whatever began melting was the one that started uncovering. So here you're putting it upon the one doing the action of melting. There's no cause and effect here. It's one entity melting and doing the second action. Now that's a difference in choice. If there's a cause and effect, then you're going to pick A, and if the entity that began melting is the one uncovering, then you're going to pick B. To make that choice, we go back to the main sentence. You know that we're talking about the ice cap here. So the ice cap began melting makes perfect sense. But the ice cap began melting to uncover vast new areas? That makes no sense. The ice cap began melting, and that led to the uncovering of new areas. And that's what A means. B, on the other hand, gives you a distorted meaning. Ice caps are not uncovering anything. They began melting, because of which uncovering happened. That is shown by the comma ing form, which is why you pick A here and not B. For the same understanding, you can eliminate C as well, began to uncover, D as well, began uncovering, and E as well would begin to uncover. So if you spot this difference in meaning, you can immediately get A as your answer, knowing that structure is right.